Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom. This is Matazah Lacham. Yesterday on my camp with Brother Yukal, I got a little confused because it was cold outside. I was trying to think. And the biblical scripture that I was thinking about was in Revelation chapter 16 instead of chapter 9. I don't know why chapter 9 popped in there. I don't know. Maybe it was the Spirit telling me there was something in chapter 9 that needed to come out. But I didn't get around to it because I usually stay out in my camps live or whatever for over 2.5 hours to make sure that I got the point across. But this time, some family business came up with the brother. He had to go take care of it, and that was the only ride I had. So I had to end up in the camp a little early. I was trying to put in as many biblical precepts leading up to it as I had wrote down in my lesson before, but it didn't work. So I just wanted to make this as a follow-up to yesterday's camp yesterday. I usually do my camps on Sunday. It's usually the day off and where I can actually wind down and put some work in for the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, my Father. So I figured I got to do something, and anyway, I was referring to 3 parts of Babylon that are going to be destroyed. Okay, but first, several things have to jump off. Okay, so I want to go to those things that are going to jump off first. All right. And okay, so I'm going to come down here where I was going at yesterday. Right. Right. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? And, a lot of people don't understand this part. Okay? They think they're just going to be unalived. No. Esau Edom is a very clever devil. Okay? He's doing his job. What he was blessed to do is to use the power of the sword by any means necessary. Like it says in Psalms, I think it was Psalms where you at? Psalms 55 and 20, right? Verse 21, Psalms 55 and 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And they're drawn swords to draw the children of Israel, whom are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, into the destruction, right? NLT, Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Stand against them and bring them to their knees. Rescue me from the wicked with your sword, and the sword of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, the sword of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai are these Edomite devils. Okay, from the wicked. The wicked is the sword, which is thy sword, right? That's the punishment on all of the heathen nations of the world, right? Verse 14, by the power of your hand, O Lord, destroy those who look to this world for their reward, but satisfy the hunger of your treasured ones. May their children have plenty, leaving an inheritance for their descendants. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we're helping for. But, like I said before, their lip, they, these Edomite devils, man, they are the wicked, man. They are evil. They've got this wicked, evil plan that they got going on, that by any means necessary, they want to destroy the children of Israel, right? Psalms 21 and 8, thine hand shall find out all thine enemies, thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them, right? And we know that fire is found in Isaiah chapter 34 Okay, verse 5, right? Right. Here it is. I'll start at verse 4. Okay. Maybe I might won't have to start up. Okay. Look, I better start at verse 2 then. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is upon all nations. Why? Because all the nations have put their hand on the apple of the eye of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is his inheritance and his people, the Israelites, his people. All nations had their hand in this. They all oppress us in wherever nation that we've been scattered to, right into this day. They still call us niggers, cappers, beaners, spicks, wetbacks, Uncle Tomahawks, anything, any racial epithet in order to put themselves above us, like it says, which is just simply fulfills biblical prophecy of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43, where it says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt be brought down very low, right? So during in this low state, you know, we fell away and we were discontinued from our heritage as practicing Israelites and practicing worshiping the Most High God, going to the temple in Jerusalem every year, going to the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Trumpets. You know what I'm saying? And we were discontinued from that. Okay, and we were scattered into into all the nations across the world. Okay, small sanctuary. Damn, did I misspell it? Yep. Boom. Boom. Okay. Let's see. Ezekiel. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go now. Hold on. Ezekiel chapter. Damn. I'm trying to figure out. I think it's Ezekiel. Yeah. Ezekiel chapter 11. The Holy Spirit told me it was Ezekiel 11, but I wasn't sure which verse. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Okay? So, in this little sanctuary is, you know, the truth of the Holy Scriptures. You know, wherever we're at, you know, we would still be close to the Lord, but we would be calling upon Him with these false names and ideologies. You see what I'm saying? Which is idolatry, you know? But the little sanctuary is only for the elect of the house of Israel, and the elect are His chosen, those that are going to receive the truth of the holy biblical scriptures. Right now, as it stands right now today, the mystery of iniquity is already at work to try to destroy the foundation of the mind of the people and what the Most High is in their minds by the hand of these Amalekite Khazars over there calling themselves Jews and are not, but do lie, which are the synagogue of Satan. They're not the actual Jews of the Holy Bible. If you go back and do the historical search, you'll find that the Jews of the Holy Bible were indeed a dark race of people. Just in regular secular history within the last 500 years, you had different individuals such as Ben Franklin, uh, um, different individuals that had made books and had made a record that saying that the Jews of the Bible, the Israelites, were a dark-skinned, uh, a tawny, ruddy-colored race of people. Okay, they're not these pink colored bastards that you see over there today. You know, they really aren't. Anyway, Isaiah chapter 34, verse 2, for the indignation is upon of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter, which is a biblical prophecy that has not yet come to pass or transpire. You see? So how can you say that the law is done away with when the law, statutes, and commandments and the biblical prophecies, okay, have to be fulfilled? Yahweh Shai Hamashiach himself said that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 18. You know, not one jot, not one tittle of the law shall pass away from the law until all the law be fulfilled. Well, the law has biblical prophecies in it, okay? Okay, against the nations of the world that are against his people. Verse 3, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from off the vine, as of a falling fig from the fig tree. Now, if you go back, let me see if I can find that video. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can. Damn it. Damn it. Come on now. Boom. Okay, can I do this? Man, come on. Let's see. Terminator 2, no fate, Judgment Day, boom. Okay. Let me see if I can find that one scene where it's in reference to the fire, boom. Nuclear apocalypse scene, boom. Here it is right here. Okay. This is where it's Isaiah chapter 34, verse 3 and 4. Before we go any further, fair use. This video is made for educational purposes, criticism, and news reporting only. It is not being made for monetary purposes. I don't give a damn about no money. It's all about the truth coming out of the biblical scriptures and giving you an idea of what is coming. That's it. Fair use. Fair use. Okay. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth from off the vine, as in the falling fig from the fig tree. Okay, you see how people turned into what looked like leaf being blown down the street with a blower, right? For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and the sword of the Lord, okay, in this metaphorical symbology, okay, his sword are these intercontinental thermal ballistic missiles that had exploded in the scene that you just saw. Okay, boom, you see a bright light. Okay, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my cursed judgment. Okay, and the people of God's, of the Most High's cursed judgment are the Edomites. Edom, it says it will fall upon Edom. Okay, okay, NLT. And when my sword has finished its work in the heavens, it will fall upon Edom, the nation I have marked for destruction. Okay, okay, real talk, man. Okay. For it is the day of the Lord's revenge, the year when Edom will be paid back for all it did to Israel. The streams of Edom will be filled with burning pitch, and the ground will be covered with fire. We just saw that in the scene, right? This judgment on Edom will never end. The smoke of its burning will rise forever. The land will lie deserted from generation to generation. No one will live there anymore. It says the same thing. Okay. Okay. I think, yeah. It says the same thing in Revelation, right? Right? The smoke of their torment. Okay. Hold on. Come on, man. Revelation chapter 14, right? Verse 9. Doom for the worshippers of the beast, right? And a bunch of evangelical Christians, I just found out from watching the brother Yeshaya's channel. And yeah, it's a bunch of Christians over there now. All of the Christian pastors of the world, that they're over there to swore loyalty and loyalty to those Amalekite Khazars, those imposters over there now, in order to come against this truth. Okay, so because the men out on street corners, okay, are that are risking their lives and everything, are, what we're doing is we're revealing and exposing these devils for the bullshit that they've been pushing for 500 years, and pushing the truth. And the people, they can't believe it. They don't have the spirit of discernment to know the difference between what's right and what's wrong, right? They just see what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, put in front of them. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark on his forehead, in his forehead, Salakia, or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever. They shall have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Okay? The smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever, and they will have no relief day or night, for they have worshipped the beast and his statue, right? The image of the beast. They were willing participants in the cashless society, and they took that RFID microchip in order to purchase and buy things in society. Okay? They didn't have any faith or belief in the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. They didn't care to pray to him. They didn't care to do anything. That's the reason why they're over there trying to put all of these Christian pastors against the people, telling them lies, which is going to go right off into Romans chapter 13. Obey thy masters. And they're going to say, let me get it. Romans chapter 13. Man, it's just going to buffer me to death, I guess. Right? This is what these Christian pastors are going to be saying. They're going to say, be subject to the government. Everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God, right? And this is what these Christian pastors are going to start preaching to their congregations in order for them to be subject to the government to push the radio frequency identification micro C-HIP, the size of a grain of rice, to be pushed underneath your skin. This is what they're doing, okay? Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So you see, that's where it goes off into, do God's service. Oh, damn it. Boom. Let me see. Oh man, come on. I'm trying to figure out where I seen that at. I think it was in, but I can't remember. I know it's in the New Testament. It's in. There it is, right there. John 16:2. All right, let me go there. Boom. John chapter 16, verse 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yep, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that they do the Most High service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asketh, Whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. You see what I'm saying? And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more. And of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Okay? See? So these devils, they got to go, man. All right? So anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against God, what God has instituted, and they will be punished. For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. So these evangelical Christians that are over there worshiping the false god, Cesare Borgia, okay, these individuals are going to be conformed in the army of Satan to come against the people and to say that you're resisting the authority of God and try to use guilt in order to get you to take the mark of the beast, in order to fit in their wicked digital society. I'm telling you, that's the fucking plan, man. It's crazy. But anyway, I wanted to go back to Revelation when I was 16. All of these thermonuclear missiles that I had mentioned in Isaiah 34. Okay. Let's start at verse 2. Revelation chapter 16, verse 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men that had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Now, if you go over here and you do the research, just us tapping in, I don't even know if it'll let me do it. Wow. Oh, it's crazy, man. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore. Where's the sore? Okay, hold on. Did they take it out? Sore. Boom. Come on. Helkos, right? Hold on.
Strong's G 1668. Helkos. Helkos.
A wound, especially a wound producing a discharge, a pus, an ulcer. Ooh. A wound, especially a suppurated wound. Okay, a sore, a sore, an ulcer. Okay. So, I mean, if you take this mark, this RFID chip, you're going to get an ulcer, man. Okay, define. What's an ulcer? Hold on. An open sore or on an external or an internal surface of the body caused by a break in the skin or mucous membrane that fails to heal. Okay? So it will never heal, man. If you take this goddamn thing underneath your skin, you're going to get cancer and a grievous sore, a noisome and grievous sore that will never heal, man, no matter how many bandages, and you know it's going to amastatize and spread. That's crazy. Abscess, boil, right? A cyst, a blister, a canker sore. Okay. Wow. Fester. Man, you don't want that. Okay. What is an ulcer? You don't want that. An ulcer is a painful sore that involves the loss of the top layers of tissue, exposing the deeper layers underneath. Ew, that's going to stink if it don't heal. Depending on the type, it can appear as a hole in the skin or mucous membrane. Damn, a hole. You got a hole in your body, ooh, that never heals and it stinks. And you can't die. What the fuck? Are you sure you want to do that in order to participate in a cashless society? Fuck that. That's a bad idea. The interior of a mouth ulcer is often a white, grayish center with a peptic ulcer is a painful open sore on the stomach or intestinal lining caused by stomach acid. Ooh, man, come on, man. Y'all don't want to do this, okay? Y'all do not want to do this, man. This is crazy. Nah, you don't want to do this shit, man. Okay? Now, the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So if you take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID NFC microchip underneath your skin, and upon them that worshipped his image were those individuals. Okay, let's go to NLT. So the first angel left the temple and poured out his bowl on the earth, and horrible malignant sores. Malignant. What the hell does malignant mean? Translate malignant. Okay, malignant depends on the context. Okay, boom. A malignant tumor. Right. Let's see if I can find. What does malignant mean? A malignant disease. Is malignant a type of cancer? Yes. A malignant disease is cancer. Oh, shit. Okay, what's that? Malignant tumor. So, okay. Versus non-malignant growths. Damn. You sure you want to take the mark of the beast? Up, it's under your skin, you see? It's subcutaneously implanted underneath your skin, so the malignant tumor is going to be under your skin. Are you sure? Man, come on now. That bullshit. You don't want it. Okay. Right? All right. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which had power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the power of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. Man, it just gets worse and worse and worse, don't it? I mean, come on, man. Here we go. Right? All right, let me get down here to what Yahushua said in red letter. NLT, Revelation 16 and 15. Look, I will come as unexpectedly as a thief. Blessed all who are watching for me, who keep their clothing ready so they will not have to walk around naked and ashamed. Right? And the demonic spirits, who are the demonic spirits? The demonic spirits are unclean spirits like frogs that come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. The false prophet is the Vatican. Okay. These false teachers. out of the mouth of the beast, okay, is EU and NATO, and the dragon is America, right? Because out of draconian law, they're going to make it mandatory on a global scale. And they're going to use the military forces of America to enforce the power of the beast on the people. You see what I'm saying? They are demonic spirits who work miracles and go out to all the rulers of the earth to gather them for the battle against the Lord on that great judgment day of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Shartazabawath, the Lord of hosts, the Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, right? Armageddon. Okay, I could go off into that, but okay. Right, here we go. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake. That great earthquake is the earthquake that's going to split America into 3 separate pieces. That's what I was trying to say to yesterday. Okay? Such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. Okay? Verse 19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon, America, Babylon the Great, came in remembrance before Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai because of the plague of the hail, and the plague thereof was exceeding great. Okay, that terrible hailstorm, okay, and the hails were 75 pounds. That's symbolic language and metaphoric for these intercontinental thermonuclear missiles, these warheads, which is the hail, and what makes them look like hailstones that are glowing, stars falling from heaven, are the what do you call it, the thrust that gets them to go into outer space and then fall upon whatever parts of the world that they're going to fall upon and destroy. Okay, what you're going to see is you're going to see them coming through, backing through the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, and it's going to look like that they're on fire, like they're stars coming through, like on the so-called 4th of July, the false their celebration of the oppression of the Israelites, and their fireworks that they throw up in the sky. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like that. All of them coming towards the earth, right? Because they have streamers that pretend to come towards the earth to try to scare you. It's going to burn you, but then it dissipates before it gets to you, right? Well, these are not going to dissipate. As soon as they get to a certain level above the surface of the earth, they're going to explode. Okay, just like you saw in the video. Okay, let's watch it again. If I can get it to play, I don't think I can. All right. No, don't think I can. I didn't think I could. I thought I could, but that's all good. Oh, there you go.
It's coming up.
Hold on. Let's get that bright light. Boom. Fair use. Fair use. Okay, hold on. Let me show you something. Boom. Isaiah 34:4, right? The heavens rolled together as a scroll that is rolled together. You see? Man, are you sure you want to be here for this? You need to be on the chariot of the Most High to escape this shit. If you ain't on the chariot of the Lord, yeah, we'll see you on the other side in a couple thousand years. See? Falling fig from off a fig tree. See? That's leaves. Look at that. That's wild, man. Okay. Let's go to another biblical scripture that backs it up. Let's go to Ezekiel 22. And oh man, there's a lot of them. Okay, but I'm gonna go to the ones that I know for sure. Ezekiel chapter 22. Son of man, the house of Israel, verse 18, is to me become dross. The people of Israel are the worthless slag that remains after silver is smelted. They are the dross that is left over, a useless mixture of copper, tin, iron, and lead. Now, a useless mixture of copper, tin, iron, and lead is the sin and iniquity that you have and that you're currently willfully sinning against the Holy Spirit and against the law of the statutes and commandments of the Lord. Right? Verse 19. So tell them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, because you are all worthless slag, I will bring you to my crucible in Jerusalem. Okay? Let me see if I can find interlinear on crucible. Damn, if I can, it won't, man, see. And I'll be trying to get these videos done within 30 minutes, but it just more stuff would pop up. Okay. 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 It don't show it. Okay. Just as copper, iron, lead, and tin are melted down in a furnace, I will melt you down in the heat of my fury. Right? Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because ye are all become dross, right? A useless mixture of tin, iron, copper, and lead, right? Behold, I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, right? As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of this furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Okay? Yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I, the Lord, have poured out my fury upon you. This is a bad position for you to be in, man. The Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, 2/3 of our people is hard-headed and wicked as fuck, you know. Ezekiel chapter 2, right? Verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall they know that hath been a prophet among them. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee. Right? Don't be afraid, even though their threats surround you like nettles and briars and stinging scorpions. Do not be dismayed by their dark scowls, even though they are rebels. Right? And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. You will give them my messages, whether they will listen or not. But they won't listen, for they are completely rebellious. So the Most High Yahweh has, he's going to destroy you. Okay? And the only way out is here in Isaiah chapter 26. Salakia. This is the only way out, man. You have to know the name of the Lord. I'm going to show you. Okay, Isaiah chapter 20. Right? Verse 26, verse 20. Salakia. Isaiah 26 and 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord cometh up out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. That's the reason why they got these evangelical Christian churches over there, to try to come against us and think they do God's service by putting us to death. Right? So that's going to bring in the famine of the word. Like I said before in Amos chapter 8, Okay, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. So it goes back into Romans chapter 13, where they tried to use your emotions as a weapon to use against you in order for you to participate in the cashless society. Because people are going to be coming to try to find the prophets that have been standing on street corners to know the truth, because they're going to know that this is ringing true straight out of biblical prophecy, and they're going to put biblical prophecy with the righteous prophets that have been risking their lives and freedom on the street corner, telling people, showing signs, showing pictures, placards, receipts, making videos, because they're going to come against taking the videos down first. Then they're going to come down, okay, when all these Christians come back from overseas, because they're going to have to worship their false god over there, okay, and they're going to have to pledge allegiance to the false god Cesare Borgia, okay, which basically is in reference to the land of Israel, or those Israeli converts, those converts that claim to be God's chosen people, but they're not. They're not. The Bible tells you, gives you a clue. They shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. Okay? They will grow faint in that day, thirsting for the Lord's word. Okay? Because the pastors and preachers, they're going to be deliberately making people go astray. All those people that went over there, okay, just like the senators and governors of the United States government went over there. They're calling in all the pastors and preachers that they got on their payroll for 501c3 tax exemptions that have become millionaires off of the simplicity, the simple-minded people, okay, for decades. And they got those individuals over there. That's what they're going to do, okay, and force them into compliance, okay? So this way they can force you into compliance. Because when the people come to these wicked pastors and preachers and false prophets asking for looking for answers to try to find a way to avoid taking the mark of the beast and participate in their cashless society, they're going to tell them, you got to do what the government tells you to do. Don't worry about it. God loves you anyway. All kinds of goddamn bullshit, man. I could see it coming, man. But like I said before, that's what the Most High is going to do, man. He's going to leave these people here and melt them. Because when they had an opportunity to repent, they chose against it. They didn't care. They didn't give a shit. Right? Let's go to I'm gonna go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 7. Right? Verse 20. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of the Most High that is set before them. Verse 21. For Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, and even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law have they despised. Right? They say the law is done away with, like it says in Psalms chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing as thou hatest instructions, and casteth my words behind thee? Right? Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things. Okay? They deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. Right? The way of the Most High, right? Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. See, they knew not his ways, because they teach the law is done away with. But his law have they despised, and denied his covenants. In his statutes they have not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And okay, So, that's that, man. They're done. Ain't nothing can be done about it, man. Let me see. Let's go down here. Second Ezra, chapter 50, or chapter Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And the proudest people on earth are these Edomite Caucasians. They practice pride over. They got pride parades in Israel, right? That Tel Aviv, Israel, is the largest gay pride parade capital of the entire fucking world. And these are God's people. God destroyed 5 cities full of that bullshit. Remember, Sodom, Gomorrah, Zeboim, Admar, and Zoar. He destroyed 5 cities full of that shit. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, rest is allowed, yep, perfect goodness and wisdom. Okay? Now, verse 55. Skipping down to verse 55. And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no God, yep, and that knowing that they must die. Right? For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them, for it was not his will that men should come to naught. But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. And how did the Most High prepare life for you? Okay, he made sure that the sons of the Most High God, through the bloodline of Seth, down through Arphaxad, came through Terah, which is the father of Abraham, through Abraham, down to Isaac, and the covenant that the Most High gave unto Abraham, he passed down to Isaac, and from Isaac down to Jacob. Not Esau, because Esau was put off to the side because he despised his birthright. And his birthright was eternal, in his eternal salvation was eternal rulership over all of the enemies, okay, and have his family, his brother, kneel down to him. Okay? That was his blessing, but he sold it for one morsel of meat. So the Most High God looked at him as a spiritual fornicator and profane person. And profane means to be set outside the temple. The temple of the Lord are his people. Okay? Remember, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the Son of God, said, dost not know that thou art the temple of the Lord, and the Lord dwelleth in you? Right? Remember he said that? Did you not know that? Okay. How is it that you don't know this unless you be reprobates, roughly paraphrased? Right? So, like I said before, the temple of the Most High God are his people that he chose from the foundation of the earth, the elect of the house of Israel. Those in Zion. Okay? All right. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. These are God's chosen people. The remnant shall return. Return from where? From being lost. From being lost in the world. From being castaways. Right? The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. And the consumption that's been decreed by the Most High God is found in Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but a third part shall be left therein. That third part, okay, is the remnant of Jacob that has returned unto the Most High God here in these last days. They know the name of the Lord, okay, because like I said before, you got to get on the chariot of Israel, okay. You got to get on one of the chariots of Israel in order to get out of here, man. Other than that, you ain't going nowhere. Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. And going over here to, where's the other one? Nahum 1, right? Where is that at? I think it is at. Salakia. Okay, hold on. Right. Nahum chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. But with an overrunning flood, he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai got all this planned out, man. Okay, where is that? I think it's in. I think that's in Nahum 1, right? What do you imagine against the Lord? Nahum 1 and 9. He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up a second time. So ain't going to be no more wickedness on the face of the earth coming from the Israelites, because we're going to be governors. Okay, the 144,000, 12,000 out of each of the 12 tribes that are going to be counselors and governors that rule over the people. Right? Let me see. I think it's in this chapter. Right, there it is. Right? Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Who are the wicked? Malachi chapter 1, verse 3 says, what does it say? Malachi chapter 1, verse 3 says, Yet I love Jacob, and I've hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. See? He shall call them the border of wickedness. That's going, skipping a couple of verses, a couple of sentences in verse 4. Salakia. I could go to it and make sure that I don't mess it up. Let's do that right quick. That way I don't mess it up, okay? Okay, Malachi chapter 1. Okay, verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Now you understand Isaiah 34. Now you understand Isaiah chapter 34, verse 3, about the people of his cursed judgment. That's the curse. You just read it in Malachi. Okay. Now, where was I at? I was in Nahum 1 and 3, right? The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Right? Let's get another one. Chariots of salvation. Boom. Habakkuk 3, verse 8. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Right? Now, we all know the sea is kindred, tongues, peoples, and nations. Okay? The rivers, okay, are vassal states. Okay? Right. Vassal states, let's see, which would be different peoples, different tongues and nations, of wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and the chariots of salvation. So, like I said before, if you do not know the name of the Lord, you ain't going nowhere, man. Let's go to Joel, chapter 2, boom, Joel, chapter 2. Damn, I'm just putting it in, then. Thought I did. Okay, well, it won't let me do it that way. I'll do it this way then. Joel chapter 2. Okay, last verse. Right? And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant who the Lord shall call. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has chosen already those individuals that he's called forth to repentance. Right? Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one unto another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name. The only people that actually think about the name of the Lord and push how important it is to know the name of the Lord for salvation are the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Okay? Once they stop us, they're going to put out all of these other false camps, individuals that took the 501c3 tax exemptions, Kari, One Body in Yahweh, Adam Abbott, Genesis Israelites, ISUPK, International School of Universal Practical Knowledge, whatever the fuck it's called, IUIC, GOCC, the Yah Israelites. Everybody's going to come out of the fucking woodwork to help the Christian pastors and preachers to come against the truth of the Holy Scriptures, which I say before is going to bring in the famine of the word, right? And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. And ye, being those that fear the Lord and thought upon his name, shall return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. So that's it, y'all. I just wanted to let y'all know, man, you are about at the end of these devils' rulership, man. Okay? Fair use. Fair use. This is what's coming. Okay? These Edomite devils are fulfilling biblical prophecy. That's all they're doing. Boom. Yep, see? There it goes. Yeah, the heavens rolled up as a scroll that is rolled together. See? Shalom. Shalom.